Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour. My name is Martin Coward, and we've been gathering together every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, to love and support each other in this virtual sanctuary through this pandemic, through these crises. And I'm so glad we did, because it's been such a place for grounding for me to be able to meet with you and meet with others to share what we're going through from a place of compassionate truth. And I'm still just basking in the afterglow of the inauguration, particularly this poem that was so beautifully written and read by Amanda Gorman. She inspired us and she challenged us, all of us, through those inspirational words to find a way to participate in the rebuilding of our country. We're better than this. And so I'd like to today take some time to just simply, okay, great. That's great. I'd love to. That'd be perfect. Call me today at 2. That's great. I would like to take some time today to just go back, and maybe we're going to do it all week, because I think these words, we can spend some time with these words and reflect on them in our meditation, because they're truth. It's the truth. It is poetic truth. And I think that if we can, and that's the whole point of having a conversation before we meditate, is to kind of bombard our ego thinking brain with bigger truths. And sometimes that's done through scripture, and sometimes that's done through song and music, and it can also be done through poetry. And I would like us to, today, and maybe for other days, I've asked Audrey to come on and join me and read this herself one day with us. Anybody like to, I'm welcome to it. But I think I'm gonna suggest today, and maybe a few more days, that we actually spend some time reflecting on exactly what all this means, what this poem is saying to us. We can slow it down when we want to, but these words are powerful. And they came to us at a very powerful time. I mean, there is no accident here that this brilliant young woman delivered this brilliant, beautiful, inspiring poem to us during the inauguration. I just can't get over it. I'm so excited about it. And every time I read it, I am just hello, Martin, and I don't know who Mary is, but it's just Audrey Schmaltz. But that's okay. We're all here together, and I'm here again to just reflect on this beautiful poem. That's okay. Yeah, that's all right. We're all here together. We are here together. It's all good. There's no good. We're all here. I'm glad you're here, and I'm going to continue for a day or two, maybe for the whole year. I don't know. I'm so inspired by this poem, and we can pull it apart and listen to the words and reflect on them, to both inspire us and to challenge us into taking action into the creation of this new world, because that's what she's calling us to do. Her message is a call to action. It is speaking the truth to what's so from the heart, and a call to action. And not a whole lot for me to say. I just want to talk more about what she's got to say. So let me pull that up again, and I'm going to read that. I'm going to read the poem again today, and we can, if we want to, we can stop occasionally and just reflect on some of the words as we go through it. But let's go through this poem again. I'm going to read it to us really slowly, and I may stop from time to time and just allow us to sort of absorb these powerful words, if we will, and let this be our guide into our deeper parts of ourselves to inspire us into action, contemplation and action. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. I love that. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. That's our call to action, to move forward. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl, descended from slaves and raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we're striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. Wow. Thank you for joining us today. Itzy, great to have you here. Okay, I don't quite know what that means. Okay, so let's go back to reading the poem. Go back and read that again. We are striving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. That is such a powerful challenge. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. Go back to reading it. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, and even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. This is the promised glade, the hill we climb. If only we dare. This is where she's challenging us. The hill we climb. If only we dare. Because being America is more than a pride we inherit. It is the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it. would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption we feared at its inception. We do not feel prepared to be heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be in the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy. That is such beautiful poetry. I'm going to read that one more time. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Every breath from my bronzed, pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. And every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. Wow. I just love every single word. What do you think? What are your favorite words? Comment, make some comments. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Glad you joined us here today. Glad you're here. It's wonderful to have us join us with us today. And I think Audrey's going to read that poem for us one day. It's not today, but she's been invited and she's agreed. So I'm not sure what day we're going to talk this afternoon. We're going to find a day. And when we come up with a great, I'll make sure I post that as part of the invitation, so that everybody knows that she's going to be reading, because she's a wonderful, wonderful speaker. And I'm sure she will read these words from a place of inspiration and heart that we can all appreciate. So anybody want to comment on what they what they're feeling, and also what might you be called to do? What do you think this is a call for you individually, you yourself? Um, I'm just curious. You don't have to think about it, but I'd love to know if there's anything in those words that really stand out for you that you want to us to reflect on in our meditation today. The whole thing is just beautiful, but there are just little pieces here and there that I just find beautiful and it makes me feel good. Can you imagine if we get the entire country tuned into the words in this poem and everybody's marching to this drum? Well, how wonderful a world we could create. Wow. It's all about love. That is exactly right. It's all about love, and love is the creation of the world. That's what love is. Love is the energy of creation. Yes, there's the emotional, romantic stuff that we can feel, but the power of love, the creation of all things, is rooted in the power of unconditional love. And that's exactly right. This whole poem is rooted and it's just all about love. The power of love to create a new world. The light rising out of the darkness into the light. Just absolutely beautiful. It's all about love. And that's what we do in meditation. It's what we do in contemplative prayer. It's all about letting go of our fear, which is part of our human condition. We do experience fear and negativity, and rise up into love. Because love is our spiritual nature. That's the essence of our spiritual nature, which is what we are. We are unconditional love. That is the essence of what we are. That spark of life that just lifted my hands, that listens, the part of you that's hearing me and the part of me that's talking, that life force that we're just swimming in. We're swimming in love. And she's reminding us. That's true. Quiet is not always peace. It is not always peace. There's a lot. That's a just beautiful piece. Quiet isn't always peace. Sometimes you have to raise your voice in what I might often call non-violent resistance to power. If you want peace, sometimes we might have to raise our voices and be heard and make noise. Beat up some pots and pans to wake people up to the truth. Quiet isn't always peace. Step into the light and get out of the shade. Absolutely. Because it's such a beautiful life when we're in the light and not in the darkness. And that's what we have right now. We've got a lot. I don't see people, I mean, for most part, I think for all part, I don't see people as inherently bad. I see people in the dark. I think people who are misled and who do these kind of violent acts are in the shade. They're in the darkness. They are, and I've often talked about, we don't blame the darkness for being dark. We don't blame the shade for being shade. Instead, we shine the light on it. We step into the light within ourselves, because we have dark parts of ourselves, the shadows of ourselves. So when we meditate, we surrender the darkness into the light within our hearts. That's a claim to action. That's a contemplative action. So that is absolutely beautiful. Yes, step into the light and get out of the shade. If everyone could get out of the dark and into the light, can you? And that's where we're going, by the way. You know, that's the movement. We're moving into that era, and it's just, we have to have some patience. We have to have trust in the growth and the maturity of the human condition. Some things have to percolate longer in the shade than others. Maybe. Some things have to stay in the darkness a little longer than other people, I guess. But there's a part of me that wants to just wake them up, right? Well, that's what she's doing. That's why words of poetry like this are so inspirational, to help us see what we cannot see. The mystery of life itself. So, yeah, that's what we got. So let's step into the light and get out of the shade and do a little bit of meditation today. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. And we're going to get still. And we're going to reflect on these words. And allow them to take on as much new meaning for us as possible. There's that bell, that wonderful bell, to remind us and wake us up from our thinking, so we can let them go. And we're going to start this meditation with 3 really nice deep breaths, deep into the belly, into the heart. Really bring it in and just let it go. And allow your body to soften. Allow your belly to soften. Allow some space around the heart. Soften the forehead. Soften your cheeks. One more great, big, fabulous breath in. Breathe in the light of life. And just let it go. We're going to take one more last breath, big breath, and really expand the belly as big as you can. And as you let it go, just totally relax it. And now just allow your breath, the rhythm of your breath, to take on its natural rhythm. And focus the mind on the breath. The in-breath, the out-breath. Notice the breath traveling up into your nose and up into your head and down your back of your throat and into your heart, deep into your belly. You might find that anchor in your belly. Allow the breath to establish an anchor inside you, to hold you, ground you. And just notice the breath coming in, filling you up, creating some space. mixing with your blood, traveling through your body, and going back out. Just minute to minute, moment to moment cycle of life right now in this moment, while we're all here present to the breath of life within us. Let us bring us right into the present moment. Because that's all there is. Infinite moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And let everything go. Surrender all the junk in our heads. Create some space. Allow the sound of that bell, that beautiful bell, to wake us up from our thinking. And just let it all go with gratitude for that brilliant brain of ours. It's always thinking, always coming up with it, sometimes always worrying, but without judgment. Just let it all go and fall back into love. There is this beautiful sound of that bell to slow us down and wake us up from our thinking and our planning. Just smile and thank that brilliant brain of yours for all its hard work and just let it go and fall back into love. There's that beautiful bell to wake us up and let go and fall back into love. There's our final bell. Welcome back. I hope we found some peace in that stillness. The stillness of our mind, the stillness of our thoughts, the stillness of the moment. There's power in that stillness, in that emptiness. Even when you can't really feel it, but you know it. You know it in a deep, deep place within you. I'm just so grateful for this poem and this young woman who did it, who made it, created it, gave it, delivered it to us. It's such an opportune time. I want to encourage us to use it as marching orders, as a plan as a blueprint, if you will, as a strategy for the new year. I think Audrey's going to come on here one day and join me. I'm not sure it's tomorrow or Friday, but I hope it's soon because I'd love to have her here. Anybody else that'd like to come and read the poem? There's a lot of juicy stuff in there. We could read that poem from now until the end of next year, and we'd still be learning and growing from it, from those words. Let me just check. I know that Audrey wanted to talk with me today, and I would love to talk with Audrey, but I need to see what my time looks like here today. Hold on a minute. Bear with me 1 second here. Audrey, if you could call me closer to 2:30, that would be better. I've got a coaching session. I'll be in a coaching session at 2. So if you could call me at 2:30 today, that would be perfect. And we'll set up a schedule for you to come on and join me and share a reading with us. I think we'd all appreciate the gift of you being here with me would be something we could all enjoy. So if you could call me today at 2:30, and you have my number, I would love to make all that, give you the logistics so you feel good about it and you know how it's going to all work. Okay, so let's do that. Let's plan on talking today around 2:30. In the meanwhile, yeah, we'll do that. In the meanwhile, have a wonderful afternoon. Lead from your heart. Do things that you can be enthusiastic about and bring you joy. Because it's a new dawn, a new day, and a new life, and I'm feeling good. May love and prosperity prevail.